Jennifer Michaela Scott.
And what are the full names of your children on the case?
Michael Lee Scott Jr., Michaela Raven Scott, and Jasper Alexander Scott.
Do the three children all have the same father?
Yes, ma'am.
And who is their father?
Michael Scott.
Okay, and you and Mr. Scott are currently married?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the three children are born in during your marriage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you and Mr. Scott separated?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall approximately when you separated?
December 1st of 2024.
Okay. Um, do you have any concerns with your address and other identifying information being in the court order?
My only thing is that I do not want my father, who lives with Michael Scott, to have access to where me and the children live.
Okay.
Can you repeat that, Miss Scott? And if you could maybe turn off your video, you're breaking up a little bit, and that might help some connectivity issues.
Okay.
Okay, could you repeat your answer?
Yes, ma'am. I just ask that my father, who lives with Michael Scott, to not have access to where knowledge of where me and my children live.
Okay, you may proceed, Miss Kuenz.
Okay. And Ms. Scott, are there some safety concerns that have come up regarding your father?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, what was that?
Can you let the court know a little about the concerns you have with him having access to your information?
My father is on parole, and when we were living together, he would take discipline with my children too far, and I brought it up, and the behavior did not stop. And that's the reason why.
Okay. And do the concerns with your father cause you concerns regarding Mr. Scott's visitation with your children?
I just ask that my dad not be allowed to be unsupervised with the children, but as long as the children's father is present, then I don't have an issue.
Okay. In other words, you would not want Mr. Scott to be able to use your father as a babysitter for the children. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are there any is there a good place for you to meet Mr. Scott for a visitation exchange potentially?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and where would you like the exchange to occur?
If it's in Childress, then my mother's house is the best point for that.
Okay. And would there be any other location that would be better for you currently?
If the exchange happens in Abilene, we can probably pick a Walmart parking lot or something.
Okay. And do you have a preference as to the location?
Uh, not not really.
And have you exchanged previously at your mother's residence?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's worked out well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you, aside from not wanting the children left alone, with Mr. Scott, are you wanting him to have visitation with them under a standard possession order where he would have them first, third, and fifth weekend of each month, potentially, depending on how far apart you live from each other, alternating holidays, longer visit, and summer and would also address the spring break visits.
I don't have a problem with Mr. Scott having the children unsupervised. It's my father that I was worried about.
Okay. And that includes overnight visits you believe are appropriate as long as Mr. Scott is present and not leaving them alone with your father?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you believe the court should consider ordering some retroactive or back support for the time period that you've been separated from Mr. Scott?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any direct payments from Mr. Scott that you believe the court needs to know about to take into consideration?
Yes, ma'am. I have received $15 for Jasper's medicine at one point. I have received $25 for gas money so I could bring the children up for a weekend visitation, and I have received $60 to help with Mikey's birthday gift.
Okay. And let's see. What health insurance is currently available for the children?
All three are currently under Medicaid.
Okay. And do you know of any other coverage that would be available for them?
Michael, my eldest son, he is on disability.
Okay.
But that's the only other coverage that I can think of.
Okay. And are there any concerns relating to his care that need to be taken into consideration when the court addresses visitation?
I would like to with my eldest son in particular, I would like me and the children's father to alternate between taking him to his appointments in Dallas.
Okay. And I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Scott, you're going to get the opportunity to testify in a few moments, but do you have any questions of Ms. Scott?
Directly to her?
Yes.
Um, I guess not at the moment.
Okay, Ms. Kuenz?
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Mr. Scott.
Okay, Mr. Scott, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
My right hand is raised, and I do.
Okay, you may lower your hand. You may proceed, Ms. Kuenz.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, what is your full name?
My full name is Michael Lee Scott.
Okay, and you're the father of each of the children on the case?
That is correct.
Okay, and did you and Miss Scott separate on or about December 1st of 2024?
That is correct.
Okay. Other than the funds indicated by Miss Scott, are there any other direct payments that you believe the court should take into account when addressing retroactive or back support?
No, ma'am. I believe she covered those payments.
Okay. And have you recently started a new job?
Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
And you're earning a salary at that new position?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what is your weekly gross before anything comes out?
My weekly gross before anything comes out is $500.
Okay, and then when you separated in December 2024, were you working at a different job at that time?
Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
And what were you paid an hourly rate at that job?
I was
What was your hourly rate?
$15 an hour.
Okay, and how many hours per week did you work on average?
On average, 45.
Okay. And at some point while you were working that prior job, did you start your current job in a part-time capacity?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. And was that on or about the beginning of May?
Yes, on or around May 1st
Okay, of this year.
of this year, correct.
Okay. And is it correct that you worked your prior job until May 30th?
That is correct. My official last day was May 30th, 2025.
Okay, and up until that date, you were still working on average 45 hours a week at your prior job.
Correct.
How were you paid at your job, your current job when you were doing the part-time work prior to starting this month with the full-time position?
I was paid $11 an hour biweekly.
Okay, and how many hours did you work per week when you were part-time?
On average, 20 to 25 hours.
Okay. And do you currently have access to any health or dental insurance the children could be on?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Do you have any other minor children besides on this case?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Um, do you have anything different that you're requesting in terms of how rights and responsibilities would be shared or visitation for you with the children?
As far as visitation goes, I'm pretty agreeable to what has been previously stated from Jennifer Scott.
Okay. And do you also agree that when the children are in your care, you would not use Miss Scott's father as a babysitter or leave the children unattended with him?
Yes, if that is her wish, I will honor and respect that.
Okay. Um, and do you have other minor children besides on this case?
No, ma'am.
I pass the witness.
Ms. Scott, do you have any questions of Mr. Scott about what he just testified to?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Any other witnesses, Ms. Kuenz?
No, Your Honor, the state rests.
All right, the state is rested. That means they have no further witnesses, no further evidence. Ms. Scott, do you have any other testimony that you would like to share?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Scott, do you have any other testimony that you would like to share?
I do have one concern that I would like to bring up. Ms. Kuntz and I went over some rough financial details regarding the support amount to be paid monthly. And as it stands, after taxes are taken out with the rough figures that we calculated, I'll only be looking at maybe $100 a month for gas and groceries. After bills. And that's a concern to me regarding me being able to take our eldest son, Michael Lee Scott Jr., to Dallas for his appointments. Because under the current financial approximation that we came up with, I don't know that I could afford that. I live 4.5 hours away in Childress at mine and Jennifer's previous residence that we lived at before we separated. So
Okay.
that's a concern for me. I can't honestly say that with $100 a month to split between gas and groceries for myself and her father in this house and the children when they come visit, that I'm going to be able to afford to make those trips.
Okay. All right. Close, Ms. Kuenz.
Yes, Your Honor. I would just ask the court's determination on the conservatorship and possession and access based on the testimony today. I would ask that Ms. Scott be responsible for applying for a government health plan for the children. And ask that Mr. Scott be responsible for paying monthly medical support of $75 per month. The initial guideline child support amount I get is $550 per month, with step downs to $459 per month, and then to $367 per month as the children emancipate. The total amount I come out with for retro before any credits is $5,577. And if I take off 40 for the first two payments mentioned by Miss Scott, I didn't take off the payment for the birthday gift. But if I take off the other 40, I get $5,537 for retroactive support and would request a payment plan of $75 per month on that, and request that Mr. Scott be responsible for the court costs in the matter. And I do, based on the testimony, ask for the court's consideration of a non-disclosure finding for Miss Scott and the children.
Okay. Ms. Scott, what are you requesting, if anything different than what the Attorney General's office has requested?
Everything sounds good. I'm all good.
And Mr. Scott?
Well, Jennifer Scott and I had previously had a conversation, and we're thinking that if the court would consider it, potentially putting the monthly child support take away from 30% to 25% of my income. This was a mutual conversation between us, between Miss Jennifer Scott and I, not too long ago, just a couple days ago. And I was wanting to know if that would be considered to make living expenses for myself more affordable, as to be able to provide gas for trips, to receive the children for visitation, and also to provide groceries in the household upon visitation.
Okay, give me just a second. I'm doing some calculating.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Scott, what is your father's name?
James Michael Brinkley.
Okay. All right. I do find that Mr. Scott does have a duty to support the children that were born of the marriage. The parties, I do find that the parties have been separated for the last 7 months. I will grant the non-disclosure as requested by Ms. Scott. However, Mr. Scott and Ms. Scott should share information with each other, as that non-disclosure is not related to Mr. Scott, but I'm not going to order that the information be disclosed by court order. I will order that the parties will be named joint managing conservators of the children, with Ms. Scott being the conservator with the exclusive right to determine the primary residence of the children. I will order that the parties exercise possession and access as they mutually agree. Should they not be able to reach a mutual agreement, I will order a standard possession order for Mr. Scott to have possession of the children. In that standard possession order, there will be an injunction that Mr. James Brinkley is not to be unsupervised around the children, and should not discipline the children and Mr. Scott or someone else needs to be present. So definitely Mr. Brinkley, I think was agreed to by the parties, should not be supervised around the children. As for the exchange, I'm going to order that the parties exchange at a public location or by agreement at Miss Scott's mother's residence. So either of those two locations are a location that they can mutually agree to. I will order Ms. Scott to maintain health insurance through a government health insurance program and order Mr. Scott to pay $50 per month cash medical support beginning July 1st, 2025. I will order current child support that Mr. Scott should pay for the 3 children at $558 per month beginning July 1st, 2025. After one child emancipates, the amount will go to $465 per month. After another child emancipates, the amount will be $372 per month. I'm ordering retroactive child support in the amount of $4,660 for the last 7 months and ordering Mr. Scott to pay $50 per month towards that judgment beginning July 1st, 2025. Court costs will be assessed against Mr. Scott to be paid directly to the Children's District Clerk's Office within the next year. So it will be due 1 year from today's date. Any party can ask for a new hearing on any of the issues that I ruled on today by filing a trial de novo with the Childress County District Clerk's Office within the next 3 days. It must be in writing. It must specify the portion of my ruling in which a new hearing is being requested, and notice must go out to all of the parties on the case. Ms. Kuenz will draft the order, submit it to me for signature. Once I've signed it, a copy will go out to each of you. Ms. Kuenz, does that address all of the issues?
It does, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes today's hearing, and you're free to disconnect from the Zoom meeting.
Thank you, Your Honor.